The Nasdaq's longest daily win streak of the year on pace to end at 8. The Journal today has a nice piece on valuations, arguing that strong corporate earnings are making stocks look less expensive. That goes for almost every sector except for tech, which is still trading 21 times earnings. Joining us this morning, Loup Ventures managing partner Gene Munster is with us. Happy Friday, Gene. Good to see you.
Hi, Carl.
The Journal also argues that some of the recent weakness in tech is causing some managers to trim their tech-heavy positions. What do you think the important narrative right now is regarding tech?
Well, I think that there's going to be a divergence in the FANG names. I think the have names are going to be Apple, Google, Amazon, and the have-nots are quickly going to become Facebook and Netflix. And assuming that Tesla is a public company, which I think there's less than a 50% chance of that, but if that does happen, I think Tesla actually moves into one of those kind of leadership positions. And I want to emphasize why that can happen is these FANG stocks are near all-time high. Why do we think that there's going to be this divergence? If you think about those companies that are in the have category, Apple, Google, Tesla, those companies, Amazon, those companies are really in front of still disrupting some major markets, like everything from robotics, AI, autonomy, augmented reality payments. There's just major markets that they can go after. So we're very optimistic that this is still, in fact, something that can keep these names going.
I want to make sure I understood you, Gene. Did you say you think there's a less than 50% chance that Tesla remains a public company? In other words, you're more inclined to believe Elon Musk. Paging
Dr. Freud.
The simple answer is yes. I guess that's one way to put it, is I believe Musk. Maybe said slightly different is I think that the company is going to operate and actually creates more value as a private company. I know you've talked a lot about it this morning, so there's not a ton more that I can add beyond this simple reality that this is a very different company, very different dynamics than most other large tech companies. And if you look at the valuation, people think of this as an expensive story, but in the private markets, we spend a lot of our time at Loup Ventures working with private companies. This is actually a really attractive valuation. And so I think investors can win. I think Tesla can win. I think Elon Musk definitely can win because he doesn't want to be a public CEO. So as much as I would like Tesla to be a public company and kind of fall into this new group of what I think will be tech leadership, I think a year from now, that's probably not going to happen.
Gene, do you see as many very large venture opportunities of this type that are this capital intensive as Tesla is right now? I mean, I look at Uber, for example. It's got a $70 billion or so valuation, but only $20 billion in actual capital investments have been made into it over the years. It's not as if somebody wrote a $50 billion check to it.
I think that Tesla, the current, let's say it's a $82 billion enterprise value, I think that would be an attractive valuation relative to other private companies. They actually have a product. I mean, the private world deals with, a lot of them don't have products. The ones that do have products have much higher valuations. And so you have a fortress around their manufacturing process. You have a brand. You have other X factors around what they're doing in solar. You have the battery storage. I just think that the capital, as you mentioned, that's been invested in the business over the last decade, I think it's a very attractive valuation. Now, I would just point out one other piece to our belief now that there's a greater than 50% chance that this happens, is when the news first came out, I would have put the probability at kind of 1 in 3. But as I talked to both public and private investors over the past couple of days, it's very clear that there would be support there.